Super fantastic. Chef Annie is very cheap this morning, so if you don't get enough breakfast, it's her fault. She didn't even make me a blueberry muffin. Boo.
Anybody
Half
here
a
for
muffin.
the first time? I see some regulars. Oh, okay. Housekeeping. Restrooms are in the hallway. Feel free to get up and walk about at any time until 12:25, and that is posted on the door as well. You already found coffee and water. Same thing. Get it whenever you want. We record in approximately 10-minute segments and take little breaks to regroup in between so that it fits into the Cairo commercial broadcast. But right now we're on YouTube Live. So many people watch it that way. We can't believe it. We're thrilled. And then it also, we have an editor at Cairo who fixes any of our bloopers, although they hardly ever make it.
Hell no.
They're so talented.
Mistakes, what is that?
Then after this morning's recording, it goes to Cairo, and our editor there keeps it all up to the radio, and it broadcasts on Saturday and Sunday, and also sometimes podcasts. So thank you so much for coming. And Annie is the director of Hot Stove, and she's making your breakfast. Lars is the best friend of house person in all of Seattle. And our technical director, Sean.
Julie, did you hear that?
Oh, when Julie's here, I say that about Julie, right? It's like this week, Sean come out, he gives the notes for Cairo, and he'll come out and give the time sign to commentary to make sure that we fit into their scheduling. And I can't. Thanks. All right.
All right, and that is my mother's stove over there. I know all of you came to see my mom's stove. She passed in August, and that was my inheritance. And if you look at the top when you're out over by the gift shop or when you're heading to the restroom, you'll see the receipt that she and my dad paid for in 1952, $250 for that stove on a 10-year payment plan.
Why didn't you loan her the money? You weren't born yet.
Yeah, that's good reason.
That's a very good question. He wasn't born, man.
My mother was so cheap. She had $1 million between her house and her bank account, and she wouldn't. I had to pay my sister to go take care of her because she just couldn't bring herself to spend her money. She was
smart.
She was smart, but she did cook 70 years on that stove for a family of 10, 3 meals a day, if not more. And if you go up and take a closer look, it's pretty pristine. I cleaned it as a kid. That was one of my chores, and she cleaned it every day.
It shows.
Yeah,
It's
it's
brain
beauty.
spanking you.
All right. The only problem is I kept bugging her, like, when are you going to kick the bucket, Mom? So I want that stove. 92 years.
Your wish has arrived.
She was a feisty old bird, that one.
Well,
Sweetheart.
thank you for making sure it got here to
Yeah.
Seattle so we could enjoy it.
The other picture up on top is me and her. I took her to her bridge club when I was back visiting one time, and maybe 5 years ago or so. And she was in her bridge club for 70 years. She and the ladies all. Bridge keeps you sharp.
Oh, she was playing Words with Friends with like 10 different people.
Oh, at least 10, yeah.
She had
I
10
had to
games
stop.
going at all times.
Yeah, I had
It
to
was
stop.
amazing. Good for your vocabulary.
Not good for my ego, though. She kicked my ass every time. I said, Mom, I'm your son. Take it easy on me. And she's,
No, she's
you
ruthless.
should have gone to church more, is what she told me.
Yeah, because we know that fixes everything.
Yeah. Hi.
Exactly.
You made it! Yay! It was snarly out there. Yeah. People are back at work.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo Radio. Yay! We're happy to be here. We're in the middle of the Kraken playoff run. The Mighty Mariners are trundling along. I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Jerry Rotero, the chef in the hat, and the Kraken are going to the.
They're in
Playoff?
the playoffs. They won their first game already.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was going to say they're going to the final, but that was. Let's take it easy.
let's take it easy, chef. Calm down, chef. You look mighty fine today.
So do you.
Yeah, I hear from your sickness or your illness that you're dealing with that you have to. The doctor said, "Hey, buddy, lose some weight."
And I am on my way to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw you eat that blueberry muffin though. Should I call?
You know what?
Should I call your
That's
doctor?
what I like about my life right now. I'm losing weight, so I can actually perk up sometimes. Those little perks.
We're happy
are
to have a
fabulous.
bountiful live audience join us this morning for breakfast here at the Hot Stove. If you want a ticket, just go to hotstovesociety.com and buy yourself one. $25 gets you hot coffee, breakfast, and a beat down from Annie Elmore, our chef. She's not speaking to me this morning. I had to chase her down for a blueberry muffin, just even like a little
And
bite
you
of it.
stole her muffin, so that's the end of that.
We have a big show today, 2 full hours. Stay with us. We think you're probably in your gardens, your spring gardens, maybe in your kitchen, making a braised lamb shoulder. That's what I had for dinner the other night. It was delicious.
Or some beautiful black bean soup like I did yesterday. That was
Mm.
we're still in that weather pattern where we're like, when is this gonna go away? I'd like to get into my salads.
I know I made ham soup from the leftover Easter ham, and I just want to eat it now. It's in the freezer, but I want to eat it now because it feels appropriate. We have several public classes coming up that you might want to check out. Cinco de Mayo on 426.
No, it's on Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
What's it say? It says, Gnocchi class. is
Gnocchi's on
426.
426.
And Cinco de Mayo on Cinco de Mayo with Chef Bridget Charters.
And mixologist Julie Ross,
Nice. I love
Nice.
that. My guess, there might be some margaritas.
I think.
Duke Moscrip is here from Duke Seafood, and Heather Andersen of Damsel Cellars. They're going to visit to talk to us about saving salmon. As many of our listeners know, we have been celebrating in the recent EPA, what's the word I want? Stoppage decision on Pebble Mine up there in the headwaters of Bristol Bay. We worked super hard on that for the last 15 years. And, you know, as I like to say, the fight is never going to be over. There's trillions of dollars of gold and copper in the headwaters there. And we're going to have to fight this for the rest of our lives and our children's lives.
And you can go to Eva's Wild to check out their upcoming fundraiser coming up in a week or two.
On the 26th, as a matter of
On
fact.
the 26th, yes.
I get back from New York at 4:15, and I'm supposed to be there at 5:15. So we'll see how that
there is
goes.
no traffic from the airport to Seattle.
We're going to talk about our commitment to Earth Day, reducing food waste with 3 different healthy practices. Pamela, you're going to take us through that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Cheap tricks to do with condiment oils. You know, one of my favorite oils to use these days, we love buying that marinated goat cheese in the jar, that soft,
that is
spreadable
perfect.
goat cheese.
Yeah.
And it's just packed in olive oil with peppers and
Peppercorns.
thyme and so and it's just saute with it. It's delicious. We're going to talk about our favorite tricks with that. Tiffany Lewis, founder of Tiffany's Cookies.
Cookies with Tiffany.
Cookies with Tiffany.
She's already here in the audience.
I love it. Thanks, Tiffany, for coming. And I see just like there's a little bag underneath my counter here that might have some treats in it. And then finally, Pam, let's wrap up our ask for people. You know, we have my beautiful mother's beautiful stove here in our kitchen, and we are asking our listeners if to join our contest. What's that all about?
Well, we're honoring home cooked meals.
Mhm.
And at the center of that is stoves. So we want to see a picture of what you're cooking on and maybe what you're cooking. So
Or maybe what your parent cooked
or
on.
your parent
Yeah.
cooked on. And so if you send me a picture, you're entered into a drawing for the staycation here at the very elegant Hotel Andra.
Mhm.
And then you can come to breakfast and the show and have
Wow.
dinner at one of our restaurants. Holy moly.
All you
It's
have
all
to-
included?
Wait.
It's all
all
included
inclusive?
for the window.
Did I
all
know
you have
this?
to do, all you have to do is tell them your favorite recipe.
You have to send a picture
Send a picture of the
Send a
stove.
picture.
of the stove where you cook all your
Yeah.
deliciousness.
That sounds easy.
May
All right.
5th is
Maybe
the
we should do
deadline.
it with
Where
your-
do you send all this?
Pamela H at tomdouglas.com.
All right.
Perfect.
You can enter, Terry.
We got one with the from Betsy over at Seattle Caviar with the Frigidaire Flare.
Yes, it has flair.
Oh my God, it was the coolest
Double
thing.
decker.
Do you have that? You raised your hand?
No.
No. Okay, I thought maybe someone
No,
here
it's
in the
she has a light in her
check
face.
out online the Frigidaire Flare, or maybe Pam will post the picture, but it is super
It's
cool.
fun.
Your taste of the week, chef.
My taste of the week is going to be actually something to do with something completely different than the taste. It has to do with Shark Garden, who just had an incident. Their what do you call that? A shed? No, it's more than a shed. It's a big
Their
place, where,
greenhouse.
a greenhouse where they were growing and they were having all the plants for their plant sale on the 28th of this month. And unfortunately, it burned down
Oh.
24 hours ago. And they have started a GoFundMe recovery. So go to GoFundMe and GoFundMe for Shark Garden Recovery, and you'll find the place to go. But more importantly, if you have any extra plant in your garden or anything that you want to help with, this is a volunteer-based kind of place, and they do a fabulous job. They're located in Berrien. More importantly, also, they are supplying a high school for special need kids right next door. So, and they also
They're supplying produce
they
for
produce
it. Yeah.
the produce that got burned down actually were meant and defined to be grown for food banks and for different places like this. So it's a great place, and Tyron over there does a fabulous job. And I just, if you have either two hands to help in the garden or a little cash to send to GoFundMe, please help.
Well, we as a radio show, she's been on a few times, so let's do as a radio show, Pam,
Well, she's gonna
$500
be on-
towards
She's going to
that.
be on next
Sounds
week.
good.
I already spoke with her.
Okay,
So
good,
we'll have
yeah.
her on next week.
So will you take care of that? So
Yes.
Yeah.
$500 to, and it's SHARK Garden.
Correct.
Right? Shark Garden.
And then if you go to GoFundMe and you just put Shark Garden Recovery, you'll find a place to go and donate some money.
Okay.
I already gave $250 this morning just to start
Nice.
because I want to help.
Yeah.
So, and it's just anything help. So
My taste of the week is, we had the folks on from Milpa Masa last week
oh yeah,
that make their own fresh nixtamalized masa over in West Seattle.
did you go
So
there?
I didn't go there, but I have ordered the 10 pounds of masa to make a house bread for the new Palace Kitchen. Right now we're doing a beer bread, but I really fell in love with that loaf of bread that they
It
brought.
was delicious.
And I like it that particular loaf was too spongy for me for what I want, like a savory dinner service that I
Right.
want to do. But I'm so looking forward to playing with all the fresh blue masa that they've made. And I'm excited. I think we're going to kick some butt on blue masa cornbread.
People are going to fall in love
the
with
PK.
it. Everyone that tasted it last week said like, whoa,
Wow.
because it
Yeah.
had
You
so
know
much
what?
corn character.
Well, that was the thing, right? It was
Yeah.
it just smelled so fragrant with corn,
Yeah.
which is unusual for any sort of
And
corn
by the way,
product.
quick side note: the Palace is reopening this weekend, right?
Yeah, let's say next weekend.
Next
Give
week.
us a little,
Next weekend.
Let's give us a little time to figure
Yeah.
things out.
Don't all come out this weekend. Wait till next weekend.
All right, Duke Moscrip is here. Heather Andersen is here. We're going to talk about saving, or not saving, but certainly helping wild salmon by selling food and wine together on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Nice start, gentlemen.
Good deed.
I think if you haven't been or heard of Shark Garden, it's really important because it supports that New Start High School, and it gives kids working opportunity and beautiful produce, and it's open and you can visit it
Yeah.
at any time. But this
Or
is,
you could volunteer your time.
Yeah, you
It's
can help. you
really-
Time,
can-
talent, and treasure, the 3 T's.
it's
Yeah.
really tragic that they burned down
Yeah, I
the
think it might be.
greenhouse.
Yeah, it might be a vagrant person that got mad because they changed the padlock because they were tired of having someone going in there, and so they don't know for sure. But
No.
that's the assumption.
Of course, when you lose a shed like that, you lose your tools, you lose
Well,
your
yeah, you
plant
lose
starts,
all
you
the
lose
plants too.
yeah.
I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Because they were all starters for spring, obviously.
Yeah, see what Jackie's got in the greenhouse.
Well, that is true. That is true. She's on an airplane to Boston right as we speak. But yes, indeed, was a good husband and went to the airport at 5:00 this morning.
What a good husband. I need to go next week. Oh,
I-
you'll
I
already
went-
be there.
I went to the airport yesterday and sent my wife to Ireland.
Oh yeah. Okay. You guys ready? All
They
right.
look ready.
So,
Born
when you
ready.
hey, when you speak, you gotta speak like this.
Yeah. Listen to
Should we take
this.
this one over there?
And listen to this. Listen to this. And listen to this. That's what I want to hear. That second voice. So
Where'd you
just
want him to move?
yeah, like right there.
Hello.
Yeah, perfect. So same thing when we get to you. Just pull that mic over.
We should get really
Get out of
close.
the way.
Yeah, just get really close to the mic.
Oh, Pam's going to move, and you can move over here.
Yeah. Use this. One of you should come to this one.
All right.
Well, now I'm not close enough to Duke.
Here we go.
Just push it all the way to her, Sean, there, if you would.
There we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
There we
Yes.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I volunteer Duke.
Or something like that.
We're doing 2 segments, right? Yeah.
All right, we're back in the hot stove kitchen on Cairo. What a lively group we have today. How's that blueberry muffin out there? So good. Annie's going to get a big head as you guys swoon for her muffins. We're joined by Duke Moscrip of Duke's Seafood and Heather Andersen of Damsel Cellars to visit and talk about saving wild salmon with wine. Duke, long time no see.
Good to see you.
Considering we're in the same business, you would think we would cross paths more often, but I see your chef more than I see you.
Well, he's worth it.
He's big.
He's the one, he's the one who's doing the job.
How's your life? Tell us about Duke's. What's going on?
Well, first thing, we'd like to contribute $500 ourselves.
Oh, that's
Shark
nice.
Garden.
To Shark Garden?
Yeah.
Two
Oh,
in a
wow.
row.
Beautiful.
$500. Way to go.
Bravo. Thank you so much, Duke.
You bet.
Pam will do that for you, but I would check her math. She gets 500 and 5,000 mixed up once in a while.
When Tom gives, he always go, wait, did I say 500 or 5,000?
They're just zeros.
All right. So good. Thank you.
All right.
So tell us about Duke's and what's going on.
Well, we've really worked hard on surviving.
Yeah.
and so far, so good.
Yeah.
And I know you have too. And Terry, it's a tough business. And we've really focused a lot. And I've been doing this probably for 35 or 40 years, working on sustainability, particularly salmon. And a lot of people don't realize, and I support, this whole movement to stop the pebble mine.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Northwest, this is amazing, and most people don't even know this, that we've actually lost 95% of the wild salmon resource in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
95%. I mean, the
That's close to extinction.
it is. Well, and we're headed there unless we do something drastic. So, in the Columbia River, this is a scientific fact. There used to be 12 to 16 million wild salmon that came up the river every year to spawn. Every year, 12 to 16. You know how many we have now? 300,000 wild salmon. And it's dwindling.
Oh, of course.
And there are at least, the scientists, I've studied this a little bit, and there's at least 52 spawning grounds in the Columbia Basin where there are no salmon coming back to spawn.
Pre-dam or post-dam?
Both.
Both. Okay.
I mean, it's tragic. And so, I'm working hard to do what I can. We're having a big fundraiser next week on the 27th to give money to 3 organizations to Save Our Wild Salmon, Wild Fish Conservancy, and Long Live the Kings. And they will split the proceeds, and they do great work.
They do fabulous work, all 3 of them.
Yeah, I've worked with them for many years, and they're very reliable and trustworthy, and they do really great work. I mean, they figured out a way to go back to one of the Wild Fish Conservancies, gone back to where the natives used to use these baskets
Right.
to capture the fish, and so so they never lose any fish, and they're able to separate the hatchery fish from the wild. And they got to get the fishermen in the Columbia River to go along with this. And you actually could do it in any river, and it's incredible. I mean, it's absolutely incredible because if we're trying to save wild salmon, let's eat the hatchery fish and let the wild salmon go up and spawn.
Right.
So anyway, all kinds of
It
things
is,
like that.
you have a big flag to carry around.
I know.
Very.
It's a lot of work, and we've all been dedicated to want to save salmon as well. And I think it's a huge amount of work. It's progressing.
Well, it's
There are signs
it's
of
the
progress.
most complicated thing I've ever been
Right.
involved in. I mean, it involves hatcheries and hydropower breaching these dams, the lower Snake River dams, which we
And-
need to do.
And the agriculture to change their, their position in chemicals and everything that runs off into the river. And there's so much involved. It's a very huge task.
It is, and we're actually going to start a public affairs campaign because it's never been done, where we educate the public and educate the politicians and the government agencies, because they're spreading basically lies about what's going on. And so the general public doesn't have any idea that we're really actually losing these salmon. If you ask the general, I have friends of mine who tell me the Columbia River is doing great. It's not doing great. It's doing horrible. And yet the government agencies can spread these rumors about, oh, everything's just fine.
Right.
And you can't take the dams down because we need the power. Well, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You can take those Snake River dams down and you could substitute the power.
We need some new source of power, that's for sure.
What's that?
We need a new source
Well,
of power.
it's a PR situation.
It really is.
Yeah,
And that's
There's a lot
why,
of- there is a lot of money involved everywhere. So
Sure.
when money is involved, it's very hard to move things around.
well, what people don't understand is that the Bonneville Power Administration, and I'm not trying to pick on them, but they've spent $24 billion on the salmon recovery and restoration portion. Not just power, but just on salmon, and we're losing salmon. I mean, it's tragic. It doesn't make any sense.
Especially for something that's so reproducible. Like,
Right.
one of the great things about Bristol Bay up in Alaska is you can see, even taking 30 million fish a year through the fishery, you can see that 30, 40, 50 million coming back at a time,
Oh yeah.
which is very impressive.
Over 60 this year.
They're expecting a smaller run. A lot has to do with drought and this and
Right.
that,
Sure.
but yeah, people can do the smallest things. Like, there's lots of different areas and groups that are going out to add native shade trees to river
Sure.
bends,
Oh yeah.
so that they have a place to rest in the cool water on the way down the stream.
Right.
There's just little things you can do. You don't have to take out. You don't have to be the person to take out the dam. You can go plant a tree
Sure.
and help the salmon.
Yeah, we've had our entire staff out planting trees on the Snoqualmie River. We quit doing during the COVID,
And
but
start
we're starting
taking-
again.
Yeah.
Start taking some land back away from the river, so it becomes no cultivation going on there.
Yeah,
so
we
you
were
have
just
no chemical.
we were just at the Tolt River yesterday and looking at the restoration of the habitat there. They did a really big, wonderful project, to just help the salmon.
Right.
It was really
So you're joined here today by Heather Andersen of Damsel Cellars. Nice to see you, Heather.
Thank you. Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning.
She
And-
makes tasty wine.
Is it
She has tasty wine.
She makes tasty wine.
tasty wine? I like that. Welcome. What's your interest in the salmon world?
Good question. So I have had an interest in sustainability for many years. In my corporate work before I started working with the winery, I had a really big interest in environmental sustainability and got familiar with the statistics around water quality and salmon and all of the things that are required for a healthy ecosystem. And salmon being one of the keystone species, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, it supports over 132 other species and helps sustain them. So once you start learning about how important the salmon are, then you realize if we don't get that piece right, then we don't have healthy land, we don't have lovely vineyards and all those things that come together as a result of having a healthy fish stock population.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, they can trace salmon DNA up through the roots of trees and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it does support so many things.
That's right. When they come up and they spawn and they die off, the nitrogen from their bodies nourish all of the riverbanks and the trees and bushes and all the things that are required for the bugs.
The
So-
eagles.
Yes, the eagles, the bears. So there's a lot of things that depend on them, and
It's a
I've
full
just-
circle of life.
it is.
So how does that reflect into your winery?
Good question. So my husband and I became involved with Damsel Cellars and Mary Womack about 7 years ago. We became investors and big sponsors of everything that she does to make wine. And in terms of sustainability, as I was mentioning with the salmon, the vineyards really require healthy soil. And so that kind of comes back to if you have the healthy soil and healthy vineyards, the fruit is what makes amazing wine. And so having amazing fruit makes beautiful wines. And of course, we have a wonderful winemaker, Mary Womack, who makes amazing wines herself. And so I met Duke and John Moscrip through a mutual friend, Pat Monahan with Train, who happens to be a neighbor and friend of ours. And Duke and John wanted to do an in-house wine for Duke's. And Pat connected us, and we started working together. And we realized we had this mutual interest in saving salmon. And we thought, well, this is perfect because we can do a benefit wine that the proceeds go towards these organizations that help save the salmon. And that's kind of how it all started.
That's super awesome. And you're going to put on a big soiree in a week or so. And so when we come back on the other side of this commercial break, let's talk about the soiree. Who's going to be there? What kind of food can we expect? My guess is there's a little bit of salmon on the menu. And people think, like, why are you serving salmon if they're so endangered? And that's really the point, is you have to create an economy around these fish and fisheries so that you can keep the jobs and keep, the traction going, or people are going to choose other things to do, whether it's golden copper in the Bristol Bay headwaters, or whether it's farming or logging here or power here in 48, lower 48. So that's when we come back on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Beautiful.
Segment. Yeah. I'm sure Duke will say nobody can come to the great party.
Come to Duke's and enjoy the wine and a portion of the
Oh, is it sold out already?
Oh, yeah.
Just tantalizing, but get them.
Okay.
Are you going to do it again? A great party.
Oh, we'll probably do it every year.
So we can sign up for next year.
Yeah. Well, they need the money.
And maybe every 6 months, because you might have to do one in between. I mean,
Maybe we will. Yeah. Not a bad idea. John show up? Tom, do you know my son, John?
I don't think I do. Nice to meet you, John.
Terry? John?
nice to meet you, John.
Did you join the company, or are you just the son?
He's
My
the,
daughter joined our company unexpectedly. She went off to become a lawyer and hated being in an office by herself, working on billable hours. And so she wanted to come back to the social side of life. And she joined our company. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. How many children have you given? How many grandchildren have you given your pops? Yeah, nice. My daughter's got 2 in the oven and a 2-year-old, so she's got
wow.
her hands full. Yeah,
wow.
I'd love to. I just I'm applying to join a golf club, and I just don't know anybody that plays golf.
You don't know anybody who plays golf?
Well, I know my buddies, but
Yeah.
they're all rich guys. They all like this. I haven't seen them in 6 months because they're all in Palm Springs or Scottsdale.
Oh,
Or,
they don't have restaurants?
they don't.
Because people in the restaurant business have very little time to go golfing.
We'll take you out to Aldera. Play out there.
Oh yeah, that,
You-
that
you-
course kicks my butt.
Everybody's.
Yeah.
Except John.
Except John. Yeah, great.
Where is this?
Aldera out in Fall
Oh.
City area. All right, we're going to start with you and then go back, finish with Duke. Okay, it's the Hot Stove Society. We're here at the Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle, and everyone is just getting their delicious Spain-inspired breakfast. We have chorizo, we have garlic ruby chard, we have a Spanish tortilla with potatoes, onions, and eggs. And how is it? We're getting nods, and nobody's talking because their mouths are full. Thank you for that. We like to see you eat it, but not chew it. We're still here in the kitchen with the owners of Damsel Cellars, which is Heather Andersen. Of course, Duke Moscrip is here from Duke's, and they're joining up with Train's Pat Monahan to help protect and restore Pacific Northwest wild salmon populations with a new wine called Upriver Red. which you wouldn't expect. You think salmon, you think more white or Pinot, but this is a Cabernet, it looks like. And tell us about the wine and how people can buy it.
Okay, well, Upriver Red is predominantly a Cabernet Sauvignon, and we sourced it from Candy Mountain AVA, which is one of the newer AVAs in Washington State.
Yep.
In fact, the 16th of 20. It's the smallest AVA and one of the hottest sites. Just
What is an AVA? Tell our listeners.
American Viticultural something
Appellation.
appellation.
Yeah,
There we go. And so the wine itself is Cabernet Sauvignon 85%. And then we have a little bit of Malbec from Candy Mountain and then a splash of Merlot. So that rounds it out quite a bit and gives it some tannins. So it'll go with the fat and the salmon. But it also, we had it in a French oak program, about 50% French oak and 50% neutral. And the French oak gives it a little bit more of the spice characteristics.
Mhm.
So think sage, think a little bit of cedar. And so that might go really well with maybe a cedar plank salmon. Or even on the other end of things, you could do a brown butter sage. You could do a blackberry compote. So there's a lot of things that you can put in the
You
salmon
could
and
do
that fat balances it out.
a wonderful Cabernet reduction.
You could, yeah.
That'd be delicious.
Yeah, so you're right. Cabernet you don't traditionally think of with salmon, but the way that you prepare it could really be a wonderful combination.
Yeah, of course.
And so how does this work? Somebody comes to one of your restaurants, Duke, and they see this wine and they can purchase it with their dinner, or is it more of a take home or what?
No, it's a purchase with dinner.
Okay.
We haven't gone any further than that. We hope it'll work.
Well, you-
and,
I think Tom just started it. You
Yeah.
can also buy it and take it home.
well, you could, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't have a lot of production, so we're going to have to get Heather to make more wine, I think.
I like
Here
that.
we go. It's always it's a good problem to have.
And it's really surprisingly drinkable for this young. You know, the Cabernets are better when they're,
Sure,
have some
sure.
time. We had tasted it yesterday. Oh my God. It was delicious.
So
You know?
somebody comes in and they buy a glass, I don't know, $15, we'll just say off the top. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but they buy a glass for $15 and how much goes to
$1
dollar?
per glass. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Basically, we're trying to get the
Congratulations.
profit
Sure.
from all this.
Right. You have a soiree coming up that's sold out apparently. So our listeners have to wait till next year.
Next year.
But tell us about what you're going to be doing there and how much fun people are going to be having.
Yeah, so we are having a sit-down dinner. It's a very small venue, and it's our first year, so we sold out pretty quickly right out of the gate. And we are going to have chef's tables and all sorts of different seafoods. We'll be presenting our first public release of the wine, which is really exciting. So Mary Womack will be there to help pour the Upriver Red. And then we're going to have an acoustic performance by Pat Monahan of Train, who is also involved in this project with us. So it'll be a really nice, intimate concert, and we'll talk a lot about saving salmon.
Wow.
Is he going to sing? Doesn't he do like Tears of Jupiter or something like
Yep.
that? Yeah, isn't that the big train song?
Yeah, Drops of Jupiter
Drops of
and
Jupiter.
Soul Sister.
Uh-huh. And he lives right here. I guess I didn't even know that.
He does. He lives in Issaquah, which
Mm-hmm.
is how we met him. We happen to live on the same street, and we have kids of similar age. So
Wow.
through COVID, we got to know each other really well, and we both realized how much we love drinking wine.
And singing at the same time,
Yeah.
which they go well together.
Yes.
Have you been down to the creek in Issaquah to watch the salmon come back during like Issaquah Salmon Days or?
We wouldn't miss it.
Oh.
That is one of our favorite things to do with our family and watch them come up. My husband goes almost every day to see how much progress they've made coming back up.
I know sometimes you feel like you can see the same fish still kind of wiggling its way, but it's if you've never done that at Carkeek or out in Issaquah or wherever wild salmon are coming back, it is
Beautiful.
It's almost life changing in a way. To watch the struggle and to know that they're just going upstream to die, but at the same time live, preserve their way of life.
I think it's also a fortune we have here, as there's not many places in the world like this. This is a rarity, and it's still happening, even though they're in very.
It's under pressure.
It's under pressure, but it is a fortune we have that we can go and see something like that, because that doesn't exist in a lot of places. Seeing all these thousands of fish coming back up the river is not a common thing anywhere else on the planet. So you owe it to yourself to go to Issaquah and take the kids, more importantly, teach them.
Mhm.
You can teach the kid. You can't teach the parents, but you can teach the kid.
Speaking of teaching your kid's here in the audience. I would imagine that he is a salmon supporter through your own DNA. I know my daughter is. She's got stickers all over her car.
Sure.
Stop Pebble Mine, and it's like, she's never even been there. But I love how you're passing that down.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
John is a big fan of sustainability and restoring salmon. It is in the DNA. And even my daughter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a writer. She writes all of our emails and blogs, and she's got a very keen interest in restoring salmon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Heather, where did you find your passion for this? I know you said you've always been into sustainability, but this is a little bit more. Salmon's almost become a political issue, right?
Yes.
Whether it's from the locals who don't want you to eat it because the southern orcas need it, or whether it's a political divide over the dams, or whether it's
Or the seal.
the EPA or our presidents going back and forth on the Bristol Bay headwaters. How did you come to this project?
Well, the project just came about because of being neighbors with Pat, who was getting involved with helping Duke out. And when we realized we all really liked saving salmon and the environment, it just became a natural fit. But I've also really been enthusiastic about climate technologies. And I happen to sit on another board that's about accelerating climate technologies. And when you look at some of the technologies that are coming into play for saving salmon, the hard technologies by the dams, the fish sorters that Duke was mentioning, there's a lot of really cool things that are going on to help save salmon. So that combination of the technology, the climate, and the wine all coming together was really a kind of a nice way to layer my passions.
We always say we have a lot of very smart people out there that can save us, but it definitely needs some work. So it's going to take everybody to get involved. Can't ignore some of it. You have to be all in.
Yep, I totally agree. Duke, do you have any idea what you're serving at your soiree?
Salmon.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. We don't buy any salmon from the Northwest. All of our salmon comes from Alaska.
Right.
Alaska is the only state that has sustainability written into their constitution.
Right.
And they do manage it really well. We just wouldn't dare to buy any salmon from Washington or Oregon or California.
Right.
Well, it's tough. It's tough. It's not, the commercial fisheries around here are very difficult.
Yeah, and they just banned the king salmon fishing on the West Coast.
Yeah.
To protect them. I mean,
Right.
they're doing something smart.
Yeah.
As tough as that is for fishermen, we have to
Well,
do it.
we have pushed it too far, so now we have to retrieve. So it takes to stop the train and reset the tires and then go back on the rail again.
There you go.
Well, hopefully some of the snowpack in California will help restore some of the, I think they're really pointing at the drought over the last 4 or 5 years
Oh,
as
yeah.
being the big issue for the return of the fish and getting the eggs to be able to hatch downstream. And
Yep.
yeah, so it's a super interesting topic. If you're out there and you're listening and you feel politically divided about this, it's really about humanity. And you think about it from that perspective and start making your decisions based on your humanity
Right.
and saving the species. It'll help clear your mind, I think. It certainly did mine. So,
I agree.
thank you, Duke. From
Yeah,
Duke's
thank you so much and best
Seafood.
of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, from Damsel Winery. We appreciate your efforts in the marketplace trying to solve some of these problems.
Thank you.
All right. Chef,
Yes, sir.
it's Earth Day, appropriately. Earth Day reminders when we come back. Pamela Hinckley's going to lead us through this segment because she is our Earth Mother. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. I think this was meant for you.
Yeah, this was meant for you.
You guys are terrific. So much. Yeah, jump back there.
You need
Come
you,
back and get a picture with.
you need to open this at some point.
Well, I'm sure our watchers wouldn't mind a little taste of some upriver red.
Sneak preview.
Right.
Since they can't make a reservation. 9 o'clock in the morning, back behind. Yeah.
All right, let's hold that up here.
Is here. That's a handsome group.
Right. Welcome. Pop that open and we'll.
How you doing?
Watch.
Good. Hanging in there, I feel great. I mean, I don't feel Like I always say, there is no pain, just a double long transplant on those sides. That's all. You're very welcome. You have breakfast?
Hey, John, I'm Tom at TomDouglas.com if you ever want to go out and play. You play broadboard at all? Oh, okay. That's where I play. One of my favorites. You know that course well. Okay. I like that better than Aldera. It doesn't ask quite as bad. It's a little easier. Yeah. It's a layout. He thinks it's a better layout.
What, Suquamish Ridge?
Yeah.
I really like Suquamish Ridge.
Last time I played Aldera, I walked and carried, and I played in brand new shoes.
Oh, no.
That was a bad day.
Oh.
Yeah. It wasn't the watching and carrying, it was
Probably other than our restaurant, which
I was just telling him was yours my favorite.
No, thank you.
Pistachios,
I'm gonna pass.
a Greyhound with the, we always love those. We try to do those.
fresh
Email and cell phone.
And then your goat-cheese fondue, your burgers are incredible, your fries are incredible. So
Thank you.
and then the
We're trying to decide with COVID what to do about the pistachios.
Yeah,
It's a fan favorite. And so we're trying to decide. So we're thinking in charge of maybe $1 for it. And then. $1 is just, that's what it costs.
especially if everybody charges for bread now, $12, $8.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hold out as long as you can.
Good luck. Oh, we'll be judgy. You get some vino, bud? Did
No, I don't want any. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that.
you quit drinking for this thing?
Yep, I have to. And afterward also, but you know, once I'm back on my feet, I can. Once in a blue moon, I can have some wine. But regularly, yes, completely. Like it's been like 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
The other day,
I
told
quit too. I'm down to 2.
you, the other day, I went. I went to Canada. I told you to Canada. Had a glass. Woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can take a seat. You know, well, when I I thought it was the other way around. The reason you don't anymore is because she forces you to. Pam, is Earth Day 424? Is that what it is?
22.
Oh, it's 422. I mean, is that pot day? What's pot day?
Oh, Pi Day.
No, pot. It's
Uh,
422, right? Oh,
No.
3.
316, I think. For
Oh,
marijuana, you mean?
yeah, we don't. Never mind. I thought that was the same day.
It should be.
Well, yeah.
The do all the magnums come with that special etching? And can people buy the magnum, or is it more in the 750s? Oh, okay. You have a better idea. Yeah. Perfect.
That is one fantastic.
Is he at slave to the tattoo? Where's he at? Oh, so no, it's not the same. Cool. Super fun.
Very cool.
You bet. Why not?
Nice expectation.
Is it an appropriate breakfast one?
Yeah. Goes great with chorizo. All right, here we go. Everyone ready for a return to glory?
Return to glory.
Address unknown.
I was expecting a backup.
Welcome back. Hot stove time. We love this time of the week. Chef Terry and I get to visit for 2 straight hours.
That's right.
Pamela's here on the producer chair, and Sean McFadden is here in the technical director chair. Although, Sean, you don't really get a chair, do you? You're like us.
He's busy.
He stands through the show, moves around a bit. Thank you for those of you watching on YouTube right now
Yes.
or later this week. We appreciate you. Remember, if you're on YouTube, and since we're taping the show, you're welcome to ask Sean questions over the chat. Maybe we can get a few answers in there, either on the show or in between the commercials. Pamela, Earth Day is coming up. We just talked about salmon and the importance of what, 100 and what did she say, 130 other species or 80 other species?
Yeah.
Dependent on them.
Depending
Yeah.
on, Earth Day is not to be trifled with.
Absolutely not. As you said in the segment about salmon, we all have some personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things each of us can do to help reduce food waste, which tragically now equals 1/3 of the food that is produced. So not only is the food getting wasted, but all of the energy and resources that go into producing that food. So we got to get our shit together. And it starts with.
Can you say that on the radio?
I don't know. We'll see if it makes it through the edit.
We got to get our poop together. I think we can say that.
At home, we can each do it by the way we control how we shop and cook and eat. So, and I'm going to need your help because there are a couple of these ideas that I struggle with, but you'll see that there are so many resources online to inspire you with the 10 top ways.
First thing, put 3 bags tote in your trunk.
What?
Put
Oh,
3
for shopping.
exactly.
Yes.
I mean, what? Start with that. And that's
I'm-
already making a big change by going to the grocery store and not getting plastic bag or even cardboard bag or whatever that's made out of.
Not to get off topic with you, Chef, but
Yes.
you pay a nickel for those bags, and they're the perfect compost bag in your kitchen compared to buying.
I know, but
Bags
the
of-
problem by buying is you're creating
No.
compost.
Oh,
And
adding
I
to the compost.
I can argue that forever. The point is not to buy things that can be recycled. The point is to not recycle.
I
All right.
love that one.
What was on your list? The first thing on your list.
Don't peel your produce, or if you are going to peel your produce, use your peels. There's a lot of wonderful recipes for how those can be sautéed and seasoned to add to the texture of a dish.
Just make a stock. I use,
Or
if
make a
you're going to peel a
stock,
vegetable, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer. Once you have enough of everything, all the stems from your parsley, the stem from all your herbs, everything, put everything, the bones from your chicken you ate, keep the bones, put them in a bag in your freezer. Once you have a bag big enough, you put that in a pot, you throw some water on it.
Perfect.
In 45 minutes, you have a wonderful chicken stock.
Or vegetable. Number
vegetable.
2, when in doubt, freeze your food. So freezers have been in and out of fashion, as a food preservation technique, but it's good for your food. It saves your food. If you know you're not going to eat both pork chops, just get it in the freezer, and they stay and maintain their health and their structure. So freezer's important. Plan your meals so you're not just wasting and buying extra stuff. Plan your shopping, plan your meals,
I haven't gotten there yet. We're going to do a segment about it though.
And the best time to plan your meal is just after you ate.
When you're full.
When you're full, not when you're empty.
But
when
there
you're
is a
full.
good day. One day a week, you should just cook out of the fridge and just use
Yeah.
stuff up.
Well,
Yeah.
give me your magic recipe. Is
There is no
everything?
magic. You just
No.
whatever's there, you figure it out from what's in there, rather than stopping at the store.
It doesn't necessarily mean everything has to be a soup. In
No,
other
no,
words,
no, not at
No, absolutely not. You can use a leftover roasted chicken to put in a salad. Half an avocado that's been looking at you like, come on, use me. The top is a little bit brown. You take a knife, you get rid of that. You dice the avocado, you mix it with some cold chicken. You throw in that jar of bell peppers. You have roasted bell peppers from Trader Joe's in your cupboard. You just take that and you mix that with that. Little bit of cilantro. You have that. If you don't use it today, it's going to go to crap. Use that, chop it, put it into the salad. You have a wonderful lunch salad for you. Squeeze a little lemon on top of that half lemon that is also looking at you like, come on, and use me.
the ones that your wife puts in there without covering them, just
Oh my
unattended.
God. Yeah, you put a lemon or half of anything in the fridge, just cover it. And you don't have to use plastic wrap. You can use a sandwich bag, just put it in there.
That is
Don't-
plastic wrap stuff. Use like a Tupperware or something
Yeah,
like that.
Tupperware, whatever. But the point
That's
is,
plastic wrap too.
don't just put a
Use-
half. Don't put a half of something in the fridge.
There's a new silicone sheets, reusable, that are vegetable huggers that come in the shape of the vegetables, of the lemons and the avocados.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I like it. It hugs the vegetable and keeps the oxygen up. But I want to talk about taking care of your greens, because this is something that I'm struggling with. I don't know if I have wrong moisture in my refrigerator. Last week, I bought the most beautiful, abundant mustard greens at PCC, frilly, crisp. 3 hours in the refrigerator and I lost them and they diminished. And so I've been trying to wrap them in my cotton towels and putting them lower, but please advise.
Well, if
Okay.
you're going to wrap them in towels, you have to wash them first so that their towels are moist. And
Oh, yeah,
and then they
correct.
might hold. But in some sort of bag, Ziploc or something is how they'll stay.
And for me, I have a back porch. In
Leave
case
it
you ever
outside.
notice, Seattle is damn cold every night, close to freezing in some places. You just keep it outside in a bucket of water. You cut the stem off by 1/8 of an inch. You put them in water and you keep them outside. It will keep much better than anywhere you have in your house.
That's where those cold cupboards come from. The pantry, outdoor
right.
pantries.
That's right. That's where the cellar come from. That's where all those things come from. It's a great place to keep it and it will be better than in your refrigerator. The problem with refrigerator, there is no circulation in home refrigerator. So the air is pretty stale and it just basically keeps on killing whatever you have in there. So, put it in a bag. That's number one. Put it in the bag if you don't want to put it outside in your vegetable drawer. But second of all, if you can, just sit it in a bucket, in a container outside with some water, just like you would flour, just like you would anything, or fresh herbs. I get chives. I get tons of chives in my garden, so I cut big batches at a time. I bring it down and I put it into a water, put it on my windowsill, and I use it for the next 3, 4, 5 days. It lasts much longer than in the refrigerator.
I just did that with that beautiful rooted watercress they sell in the store.
Yeah.
It took the tops off and then just replanted or put in a glass of water,
Mhm.
that little soil clod. And I have sprouts. I'm so excited.
It's amazing how that works.
It's amazing.
A little water usually goes a long way.
Now let's go to bananas, potatoes, and onions.
Potatoes and
Same
onion,
thing.
you leave them on the counter and they will be more than fine. They don't need to be refrigerated.
For a week.
Oh, yeah, for more than a week.
They start to bud out, eye up.
I
a
know
little bit,
mine are
yeah.
Well, yeah, they
budding
I mean,
too
you,
quickly.
you shouldn't buy onions for the next 2 months. You should buy onions just like everything else. You should buy it weekly for your vegetable at least. So, yes, your onion will be fine for a week. Your bananas, however, you have to be picking them for when you want to eat them. So, if you pick them, if you want to eat bananas tomorrow, you got to buy them ripe. But if you don't, buy them slightly on the ripe and keep them on the counter or put them in a brown bag, paper bag, and they will ripen very quickly and very fast. Within 2-3 days, they will be ripe.
You know what George Burns said about buying bananas when he was 95? He says, At his age, he never buys unripe bananas anymore. So
Because he doesn't have 2
intubating?
3 days. Plus, he probably doesn't have any teeth anymore.
that's right.
It's easier.
So the three main premises to remember, not only on Earth Day but every day: prevent food waste by storing your food optimally and using every edible part and planning meals ahead of time. Inspire everyone around you to waste less.
Kids,
And kids, and repurpose by giving a second life to ingredients that more commonly go to waste.
There you
Prevent,
go.
inspire, repurpose.
It's
Happy
your job.
Earth Day.
It's your purpose. Happy
and-
Earth Day.
Buy a copy of Diet for a Small Planet. It was written 50 years ago, and Frances Moore LePay has just re-released a 50th anniversary edition with her daughter, and it has the best vegetable recipes
Nice.
All right, we've got another full hour of deliciousness coming your way here on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Couldn't wish any
ever.
better.
It's time for Tiffany. Yay!
All right, I'd like to do that.
Stay focused on that. That's good.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Hello.
Jerry?
Good. How are you?
Sean, Tiffany Lewis.
Hi. Perfect. Little goodie bags for you to.
Mm.
Are they all the same?
Yes.
Okay.
There are our s'more, which is our best seller, and then our toffee, and they're delicious.
I didn't get deeply into the website.
Lars?
Do you have anything gluten-free?
We do.
Lars?
Okay.
Yes.
Will you remember to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Had some questions.
The dairy-free
Free bakers.
Yes. Perfect.
Thank you, Lars.
Thank you so much.
You guys want to taste the cookie now? Never mind, Lars. They don't want any.
Oh.
Yes.
I think
You don't
they're
get
good.
cheated around here for a $25 ticket. You don't get cheated.
Me too.
One of the nicest things I read on your website was cookies with Tiffany.
Yes. Very purposeful.
Very perfect.
Yes. Very much so.
Yeah.
Very.
That was a nice orientation.
Thank you.
She can talk about it.
I'll tell you all about it. Don't worry.
Looks like she's not shy either, so that's good.
No, I'm not shy.
It's your product.
It's my products, and I love cookies.
Who doesn't?
They're so happy, right? Cookies make me happy.
We do many different. Well,
Yes.
we'll talk about this on the.
We do. Yes, we do.
There is,
I actually
there is
look-
a source of joy around
I actually
it.
looked at the site. It
Yeah.
looks yummy.
Yes, they're, and it's a good size. So you can have one and you can have a little bit of one. You can, and just feel really satisfied with the ingredients. A little bit goes a long ways. So
When Pam was director, that never happened.
Keep thinking about this. We do invite someone to compete in trivia with commentary at the end of the show. If anybody wants to put their hand up.
And just so you know, you always win when you play. I can put that out there. You always win. We always lose.
All right.
Shall we?
We shall.
Oh, stretch. Shall we stretch?
Stretch. All right.
How was your breakfast? Pretty good? You know, our hippie producer doesn't like Ruby Chard.
I'm trying.
That was the best thing on the plate.
I'm trying. I'm going to amend my ways.
Should apologize to Mother Earth first.
She doesn't like to compost chard.
So Tiffany, for the first segment, we're just going to have 5 minutes or so.
Sure.
And then we'll jump into Tiffany's, what is Tiffany's cookies, blah, blah, blah. In the second segment, maybe you could help the home cook with making a better cookie.
Great.
And buying yours, of course, but also
Of course.
what are some tricks that you've learned over time
Perfect.
to make a home cook a better baker?
Great.
Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society Show. That was a nice interlude that we had there.
Absolutely.
You know, everyone here in the house just got a glass of red wine from Duke and Heather. Now they're getting a cookie from Tiffany, and they've already had breakfast and coffee.
It's amazing.
My goodness, this is a fun place.
I think I'm gonna come. I think I'm gonna come to this show every week.
I know you should. In our next hour, we're going to welcome Tiffany Lewis and her cookies. We're going to talk how to use up some things in your fridge. Again, in honor of Earth Day, don't be throwing stuff away. Like when you get a marinated cheese, say that Chev that we both love, it comes in a big jar of oil with peppercorns and thyme.
Save it for the segment.
Yeah.
Well, we need to,
Don't waste it. Use it.
we
So
need
we're
to
gonna
tell
talk-
them why they need to stay on.
Yeah, one of the tricks about using all the things like pickle brine and things like that in your cooking. Also, we're going to finish the hour with food for thought, rub with love, tasty trivia. Which Pam, you've got a smirk on your face. Do you already know that I'm going to lose?
We are gonna lose.
There's a couple of zingers in
A
there.
couple of zingers. Got to stay tuned for that, I guess.
Who was
Sort
the
of.
guy who ran 100 meters in 1897?
Yeah, like that.
Well, you know, the person who plays gets to shop in our gift shop.
Mhm.
3 free jars of spice rubs. So after the show, our gift shop is a very exciting place
And
Very.
full,
and full right now.
ready to go.
Exactly. All right. Welcome, Tiffany Lewis.
Thank you.
You have a company called Cookies with Tiffany, and they're scratch made, Seattle Wa. Every day is a good day for a cookie.
It's true. What did you say?
Yes.
Every day.
I don't,
I'm
know,
ready
I
right
don't know of
now.
a bad day for cookies.
I don't either. I mean, it's just like, and I always say to people, like, they come to the farmer's market, they're like, how's your day going? I'm like, it's great. I'm surrounded by cookies. Like, how can my day not be good when I'm surrounded by
Exactly.
cookies? And if it's not good, I just have a cookie. And it's amazing how that cookie, that nostalgia of a cookie can really just turn your day around.
So do you still eat cookie every day?
Of course I do. Yes.
How do you say so skinny? Are you French or something?
You know, it's all about balance, right? It's about balance. And I think that goes with anything that you're eating, whether it's savory or sweet. It's all about balance, enjoying, indulging, using great ingredients and great products that you feel good about. And if you use great products, I feel like a little bit goes a long ways. You're not masking that genuine flavor of a butter that's local or a toffee that's homemade here in Seattle, Washington. I mean, it's so incredible to be able to support my neighbors as well and use these great ingredients. So a little bit.
Are you saying what I don't want to hear? We can only have one.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying you do you, but
You know, Julia Child said everything in moderation, chef,
Yep.
including moderation.
it's
Especially.
true. Yes. I love that quote. It's a
Let's
great
go
one.
back to what you just said, which is something, you know, we're pretty well known for a thing called triple coconut cream pie. And it's always fascinated me why people get worked up about it, because it's coconut cream pie. And then you go to the store and you buy like a Pepperidge Farm version, or you go to Denny's and have a Denny's version or whatever. And you realize even though our pie has what people perceive as less coconut flavor, you know, people say to me all the time, I don't even like coconut and I love that pie, right? I think what you said about ingredients is really there. I think our bodies are in tune enough to recognize when you get something in your mouth, it's like, this is real food. This is a
Yeah.
real ingredient. It's not copper tone sun lotion, coconut flavor, right? And so I do think that that's part of what's going on in people's mouths, is that they're recognizing real cream, real coconut milk, right? So congratulations for figuring that out.
Thank you. And I agree. I mean, I think as you go somewhere and it's the people always say our cookies aren't too sweet. It's the right amount. The vanilla, we use pure vanilla. It costs more to use excellent, local ingredients, but it's worth it.
And again,
and
one goes a long way.
yes, and you're giving back in so many other ways too. So it's a gift that keeps giving, right? That pure vanilla, that butter, the toffee, the habanero sea salt that we're sourcing from a local vendor at the Ballard Farmers Market. It's amazing. I mean, there's a canned spring meals flour that we're using. It's amazing. So there's really incredible ingredients that we can source locally. And when you try that, you taste the difference. And I think that's really what sets us apart. What makes our cookies so delicious is that we go that extra mile, we pay that extra price. It's worth it in every bite.
Chef, I don't know if you remember when we had Robin from Hello Robin.
Hello, Robin. Yeah.
Hello Robin's Cookies on a couple years back. And she and I got into a brouhaha about, friendly, of course, about the amount. Like, more isn't necessarily better. So if you have a chocolate chip cookie that has, let's say, 25% chocolate chips compared to the rest of the cookie, a 50% chocolate chip cookie isn't necessarily better. Unlike my friend Emerald, good for him, but he was like, bam, I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going to add more garlic, add more chili, right? I think that there's a charm in a perfectly balanced cookie. And Robin and I went round and round about this, but it sounds like you're in my camp on this.
Yeah, I think sometimes less is more too. But if you're using those, like I said, those great ingredients, you don't need a lot, right? You just use a little bit, it goes a long way as you taste the difference. Yeah, I obsess over that. Like I geek out over that. I read cookbooks for fun. That's what's on the bedside table, is like a stack of books. And I just love reading techniques and flavor profiles. And also like you enjoy cooking in this season, I love baking in this season. I mean, that's so fun for us to take fresh local strawberries and dehydrate them and make a Wimbledon cookie, which is in tribute to Wimbledon during July, and to make a blueberries and cream cookie. And just, it's so much fun to do that.
Right.
And like, have fun in the kitchen, stand out. You have your classics, like you're trying our s'more and our toffee, which are amazing. That s'more cookie as well, a percentage of proceeds go to a Swedish hospital, and our celebration cookie, a percentage goes to Children's Hospital, their pet therapy program, which is amazing. I love dogs, and I volunteered at Children's for a very long time, way back when. So it's so special that we get to have a signature line, but then we get to have fun and kind of align with the season at hand, which I think goes back to my culinary background and working in the savory side. So it's fun. I love cooking. I love baking. Cookies with Tiffany is all about celebrating the nostalgia of a cookie, creating the best cookie you can get your hands on, and having that incredible chew, the taste that leaves a lasting impression. And then we ship nationwide. So it's something that you're proud to gift and receive. So
I have
it's-
one question. Does
yeah.
it come in a blue box?
It does not come in a blue box.
Just asking.
I know. I
Just
thought
asking.
about that way back when.
I
and
thought
then
about that first
Oh,
thing.
it took me a minute.
First
my
thing.
legal team was like, we gotta be a little bit careful here.
Yeah.
So, there's the refinement. There's a bow on the box. It's nice packaging. We want to leave that impression because we do corporate gifting and catering and all that. But at the end of the day, it's a cookie. It's a cookie, but we want to make the best
A
cookie.
darn good cookie.
Darn good cookie. So
Let's go back to that for 1 second. Cookies with Tiffany.
Yes.
What does that mean? Well, of course, cookies by Tiffany would be more typical.
Yes.
At Tiffany would be even better.
Yes, exactly. WITH is very purposeful. So we started our company during the pandemic. I lost my job like so many people, and I pivoted. And I've always been obsessed with cookies. I used to be in corporate marketing way back in the day, and I actually left corporate marketing for culinary school in Los Angeles because I moved to Ohio for a job, didn't know anyone, and I made cookies every single weekend, and I bring them to
Like
work.
Ted Lasso.
What? Sorry.
Like Ted Lasso.
Yes.
That's so, yeah.
Yeah. And so I bring cookies to work every Monday. It gave me something to do on the weekend. And it's amazing how many friends you can make when you simply offer them a cookie. And so the next thing you know, I was in Ohio by myself, didn't know anyone, and I had this whole community around me and that was excited about our cookies. And so when, the pandemic happened and I realized people need community. People need nostalgia. They need comfort. They need joy. to me, that's a cookie. So the with is all about coming together with others, a cookie in hand. It's actually quite metaphoric, if you may, right? A cookie. So yes, we can all go home and eat a cookie, but it's a lot more fun to share a cookie with others, or to share a cookie with an entire
With a lot of
room.
others.
Yes, exactly. I see a lot of empty plates. That's a really good sign. So that's why it's with. It's about coming together with others, sharing a cookie over the nostalgia.
Perfect. Okay, when we come back, we're going to have some tips for you from Tiffany about how to be a better home cookie baker, and also where you can buy her cookies. And to Robin, who I know listens to our show sometimes, I love your cookies. Don't you worry.
Me too.
We had a bake-off, more with Tiffany when we come back on the Hot Stove Society show, Cairo Radio, 97.3 FM.
And the seasonal thing too. I think that
Yes.
sneak in a couple little
the
seasonal
seasonal.
twists would be
Those
fantastic.
blueberry, raspberry, blackberry. I mean, that's like so cool.
Yeah, the lemon beetle that we're doing right now is just kind of in tribute to, bright, fresh flavors, and it's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, thank you.
I got one for you since you go in LA. Try finger lime.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Finger lime cookie.
I have not tried. Yes.
It's like caviar on a
It
cookie.
is. So I used to work for Curtis Stone, and
Oh, yeah.
I did all this.
I was on Top Chef Master twice.
I remember that, and he came to Seattle, and I remember all that. And so that we did an event. I forgot what it was, and we had boxes of them, and we had to squeeze. Oh,
My mother-in-law has some in the front yard in West LA. I go down there, I pick up a whole bunch every time. You can buy them frozen. You can, but you can go to LA and figure out something, because it grows in LA. And have you seen it? It's like a bush with
I've not seen the bush, but
It's-
I've seen
the pod. It become looks like a pea, more.
Oh,
And you squeeze the and when they're fresh, it's ridiculous. It pops in the mouth. I mean, that would be killer for a cookie.
our lemon cookie. We have all fresh lemon zest, a little citric acid,
Sure.
sugar. So you have the citric acid is like that little, that what's that? That little burst that you would expect. But that would be like little pops of like cheerfulness.
You could do that with a lime margarita or something of that nature. Just saying.
Yeah, I love that.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. You need some help?
Can I bring you on as my
Sure.
You could be my professional.
Since I got nothing else to do,
Yeah.
I got
Just got
plenty of
yourself a
ideas.
job.
I got plenty of ideas for.
I love that. That's what's so fun about cooking and baking too, right? It's like everyone brings something to the table, which
Right.
is so fun. And it's just like we've all grown up having a cookie. I mean, think about all the cookies that came from your mother's oven,
Oh,
right? And
I would venture to say hundreds of thousands.
and
Really?
you probably can remember the smell of that door opening, and it's like just like a roasting chicken or like onions or something. It's that cookie smell, and that door opens, and it's just like it's home. It's comforting. It's just so joyful, and like
Nice.
that's what we try to capture with this, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I love that idea.
There you
That
go.
sounds so
All right, here we go.
good.
We're in the kitchen with Tiffany Lewis of Cookies with Tiffany. Every day is a good day for a cookie. And Tiffany, we talked a little bit about cooking or cookies with Tiffany. We talked about your company and your warmth and your how cookies speak to everyone, especially when you want to make friends. You can always make a friend with a cookie. Tell us a little bit about your process of getting to the perfect cookie, so that the home baker who maybe makes cookies 3-4 times a year, sometimes for the holidays, sometimes an Easter iced cookie, but just not super often. Or when they do make them, it's coming off the bag of a Toll House chocolate morsels.
Sure.
Tell us about your process of perfecting the cookie and what makes yours as good as any.
Absolutely. I've got some great tips. So my 3-way test for the perfect cookie is it has to chew good, taste good, and look good.
Mhm.
Right. So that's my 3-way test. So when you look at that and you kind of go into the R&D kitchen for a home baker, you want to use the best ingredients that you can find. So you want to use a full fat butter. We're not using margarine. You want to use eggs that are delicious. You want to use pure vanilla. You want to use the best flour you can find, the best chocolate chips you can find, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the most important thing, is just use the best ingredients. Let the ingredients speak for themselves. Right? That's as simple as that. And then the chew, I have some great little tips for that. So one of my favorite tips is the power of extra egg yolk. And so the yolk, as we know here, I'm surrounded by some incredible chefs here. I mean, I don't need to teach you anything because you already know this, but this is a fun tip for our home bakers, is that the chew in a cookie, a lot of that actually comes from your yolk. The white in a cookie often comes in a little bit more spread and a little bit more crispiness, so a little bit around the edge. Now, of course, if you look at the R&D, you think about your white sugar versus your brown sugar. We don't need to get technical. Let's just have fun. We're making cookies. Let's not overthink this, right? But add in an extra yolk, large eggs. I add in 1 extra egg yolk, and it will add such an incredible depth of flavor and chew to your cookie. I think that alone will really stand out.
Right.
And then looks, right? So think about the finishing touch. So maybe it's a little bit of Maldon sea salt to finish your chocolate chip. Or on our seasonal cookie, we have a new cookie every month. We're doing a lemon doodle. So think about freshly zesting some lemon, maybe a little bit of sugar with that. You can make a little lemon sugar. So little things like that can really take an everyday cookie to the next level. And as far as like a recipe, there are so many great recipes out there. But if you use your great ingredients and you use, a lot of patience and love and attention to detail, and you set that timer and all those little things add up, you're going to have a great cookie. And the best part is, if it doesn't turn out, you can go back and kind of tweak it a little bit and add in different flavors. So those are some of my favorite tips.
If it doesn't turn out, it's still very good to eat,
Yes,
especially out of the oven.
it is. And if it's a little toasty, you can kind of crumble it up, make a cookie granola.
Sure.
You can make an ice cream sandwich. So let's talk about resourcefulness, right? You can always find a place for that cookie. And some people like a chewy cookie. Some people like a crispy cookie.
With your yogurt
So-
in the morning instead of, starving through breakfast.
Well, granola basically is an oatmeal
It's
cookie.
like a cookie,
That's-
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. Most of them.
Yes.
anyway,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And your happiness counts for something, right? So a
Mhm.
little cookie for breakfast never hurt anybody. Just everything in moderation.
You can't look at it as a cookie. You got to look at substance.
Yes.
You
As a
need
treat.
to eat.
Yes.
Also, let's go back to your top 3 things there, because I often don't care for a cookie that's what I consider underbaked, and I like a cookie with a little brown on it. So,
Okay.
what would you say to me if I'm using a regular recipe, like out of a book, Madia Heater's book, or whoever,
Mhm.
but I want a little more brown?
Yeah.
And I think if you just cook them longer, you change the nature of that cookie completely.
Sure.
Whereas in my mind, if I'm just cooking at a little bit higher temperature, I can still keep my little bit rare center and get some of the brown.
Right.
Have you ever
That's
thought
what-
about those?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say actually, is you can play around with your temperature. You can play around with where your cookies are baking in your oven, higher, lower. You can play around with the baking sheet that you're using. You can play around. So I would say I would do a higher temperature for a shorter amount of time,
Mhm.
and that'll get your nice brown color. Go a little bit higher in the oven. That'll get a little bit more brown on
the
top.
dome of the cookie.
Sprinkle,
Yeah.
sprinkle sugar on, very fine sugar on top. That will help caramelize very quickly.
There,
Mhm.
That's
That will
good tip.
crisp up very quickly.
That's
Mhm.
a great tip. But it's kind of the thing about baking, which is fun. And yes, it's very precise and there's a structure. You can't just like kind of ad lib as you go. But the great thing is, as well, is that there's so many resources out there and tips. And you can just look at the television, you can look at cookbooks and get inspiration for how people are adding things, or how they're adding things to cookies, but how they're adorning cookies too, right?
It's because
And
you're a cook.
Yeah, but
Bakers don't do that, but cooks do.
Yes, you're right. Cooks, and that's the fun thing. Cooks, you can just do this, da 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 da. But baking, you can get an idea, like inspiration about, like, oh, somebody's using, well, I talked about seasonal cookies, so I get inspiration on, like, we did a Lucky Charm cookie for, in March, and so
Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day, and so it's thinking about, okay, what is that? The little marshmallow things, putting them in a cookie, playing around with it. When it bakes, what happens? Does it get kind of muted, the color, or does it get bright and vibrant? It gets bright and vibrant, but it's fun to kind of see what people are including in their cookies. Cookie is a canvas. So if you have like a really great, here's another tip. If you have a really great sugar cookie recipe, you can kind of have fun and experiment with that by adding, crushed Oreos inside, or adding your Lucky Charms inside. Or we have the little, remember those pink and white animal cracker cookies that we all kind of remember?
I
You can
still
put
eat them.
those. I do too. And we put them in cookies. They're delicious. So you can really have fun with it. Don't take yourself so seriously. We're making cookies. It's a great way to bring the entire family together in the kitchen in a fun way. And at the end of all of that, you have a cookie.
And there is nuts too. You haven't mentioned.
You can do nuts.
There's a
You
lot
can-
of nuts.
Oh,
on
go
there.
nuts.
And you can do spices. I'm using a habanero sea salt in our Mexican hot cocoa cookie, which is delicious. There's also cinnamon in there. So you can really have fun.
Yum.
Open your spice cabinet. Make a savory cookie. What about like a rosemary cornmeal cookie? Or
Yes, please.
yes, open up, and walk down the snack
Turmeric.
aisle in the grocery store. Yes, that would be
Turmeric cookie.
delicious. And the color. Walk down the candy aisle, walk down the snack aisle. There's a thing called nostalgia, which is trending. So it's taking nostalgic things and making them new. So I have a lot of fun walking down the candy aisle and finding these Milk Duds and other candies that we all kind of grew up with and incorporating it into a brand new cookie and making it yours. Put your stamp on it.
Okay, but since you're so serious about cookies, what's your favorite trashy cookie?
Favorite
Like for me,
trashy
it's
cookie.
I used to always just be like an Oreo, but now I'm kind of into the Tate's coconut like crispy cookie,
Mm.
Whoa.
Okay.
For me, it would be graham cracker.
a graham cracker.
Ooh.
That's my.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I really do love Oreos too, to be honest. But I would say my favorite one is the Mother Circus animal cookies.
Mm.
They're nostalgic. They're sweet.
They're so sweet.
They're fun.
Yeah.
And if you put them in a cookie, you have a better balance, I think. It's like the chews in there, and they're just
And you don't have to add
pretty.
sugar; it's already there.
It's already there.
And the
exactly.
mother's toffee cookie too. It's just that
Those are
the
good.
toffee biscuit with the cream.
And the Girl Scout cookie too are pretty good.
Those are good. I mean, we could go on.
I
here.
think the
There's so
Girl
many
Scout
great
cookies
things.
are more what Tiffany said, which is incorporate them into a different cookie because
Right.
they've been on that in that box for a long time.
Yeah.
It's hard to get.
Now
Yeah,
that
so-
everyone is going to be rabid to buy the cookies,
Yes.
where are we going to send people
Yes.
to get these cookies?
Thank you. We have a bake shop in the heart of Madrona neighborhood called Cookies with Tiffany. We're open there Thursday through Saturday, 11 to 4. You can find us at farmers markets, Ballard Farmers Market. This summer we'll be at Issaquah and Bellevue and Mercer Island Farmers Markets.
Ooh, you're going to be
And
busy.
you can find us online, cookieswithtiffany.com. We do ship nationwide, so don't forget that. And you can find us out and about. We love doing pop-ups. So
Do you ship frozen or
fresh. Everything's made fresh on a Monday morning. It ships out the same day, priority mail, and you've got cookies at your doorstep.
All right.
Nice.
Thanks to Tiffany Lewis.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
Cookies
you.
with Tiffany.
Happy cookie.
Let's come back and talk about how to use up the little leftovers in your condiment jars in your
Cookies.
very own refrigerator on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Sorry, I had to wrap that up.
I love that you're
Thank
brave
you.
enough to have a brick and mortar still.
It's just, and it's a great way for us to have a place for people to come engage with us and
Yes.
like smell the smells. Everything's made there for
Oh, is that where your
there.
kitchen is too?
That's just, no, our kitchen's actually in Northlake. So
okay.
we're above Vula's Offshore Cafe. So they were so kind and let us use their kitchen during the pandemic. And then we're like, oh, we
Oh.
actually have a viable business model. We're going to go upstairs. So we've rented out the whole second floor and had it all approved for food production and fire code. And it's incredible. So yeah, it's great. So
Where are you in Madrona?
We're right on 34th, right next to the little wine shop, right across from Vendemia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great little spot.
Cool.
So,
I haven't been to that neighborhood in a long time.
I know it's so
Yeah.
pretty.
it's a great
Time
spot.
for a field trip.
Yes.
Where
Well, let
Saint
me
Cloud-
know when you're
close to
coming.
Saint Cloud, where Saint Cloud used to be.
Yes, like at the same side of the street.
Yeah.
That's where I get my
Cloud's
haircut.
gone.
Yeah.
Has been-
Now
has been
that's where I
gone.
get it. So
That's why it's gone. It's been gone for 5 years. You didn't know.
More than 5 years.
That's why it's gone.
years.
Loss.
People used to say that at the old Dahlia when they would come in and they'd say, Where's the 1904 restaurant? That was my favorite bar. I said, well, maybe you should have come more often, and they wouldn't have closed.
If this is what you do to your favorite, I hate to see what you do to your enemies.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. More cookies, please.
Oh, now you eat something. For being a hipster or hippie dipper, you eat a lot of sugar.
I do. Thank you, Sean.
So much. Did everyone like their cookies?
Just go mob her store on the weekends now. I know you do. Yum. Wow, they didn't drink it all.
Anybody need more wine? Sitting right here. Okay. There's a hotel right above you. Just sleep it off.
We have a staycation game going on.
I'm going to leave this one off with last chance.
Until May 5th. You're the boss.
No, you're going to tell people. I'm going to ask
Oh.
you.
I like this.
I'm the boss. Since when?
Yeah, exactly.
I've known her for 40 years and I've never been the boss.
He has 7 sisters. He's never been the boss.
6.
Yeah, 6. He's never been the boss. You can't be a boss when you have 6 sisters.
I know.
Jackie's on a plane in Boston right now.
Nice.
Pam's going back for her mother's memorial service next week,
And
and they're
Kathy's
going
in Dublin.
to meet up in Boston
Oh, that's
She's coming to Connecticut
or Connecticut. I'm sorry.
Oh. When are you going?
Thursday. So you guys are by yourself next week.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
God. We can find-
Thank God. What are you kidding?
But the irony is that chef from Boston is going to be on next week.
Oh, really?
Ken Oringer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ken is coming?
He's Zooming.
Oh, cool.
He wrote a book with his daughter.
That's right. I did see that.
Yeah. So he's on next week.
His wife is French.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
I like the
Sassoon.
French people.
Ken is a funny guy. Super nice guy. You know him?
I don't know him well, but I've met him many times over the years.
Last time I saw Ken Oranger, we were at his restaurant, Uni, with, I remember there was about, and it's a very small restaurant, like your bakery. There's about 50 of us.
I
Thomas
think he
Keller,
expanded it.
Thomas Keller was there and everything. And there was a bowl this big of nothing but Uni passing around and people grabbing. It was so delicious.
My
Oh,
My worst nightmare.
So good.
You guys have
Your
you
worst
guys know what
nightmare?
uni is? Yeah. Yeah.
You don't like uni?
It's not my favorite thing.
oh.
Now, if you had said it was full of beluga caviar, it'd be different.
I take both.
They're both eggs.
I know. I take them both. All right.
Here it is. You're right with us in the hot stove kitchen here at the Hotel Andra, downtown Seattle, 4th and Virginia. I'm going to remind people one more time of our staycation contest.
It's incredible. If you send us a picture to me, Pamela H at tomdouglas.com, you're going to get entered into a drawing. We want the picture to be of the stove of your family heritage or the one you're currently cooking on. We'd like to hear what you're cooking. And you've got until May 5th to
May
send
5th.
in the picture.
And
You
what
said-
do you win?
An overnight at the beautiful Hotel Andra,
Oh.
breakfast with us here at the show, and dinner at one of our restaurants.
So that would your
Whoa.
choices at that point would be the
Wait a
new
minute, so
palace,
you get $1,000 just to send
Picture,
this.
an email to me.
a new
yeah.
palace kitchen, a Carlisle room before a show, Lola,
Whoa,
Sherry's Pie,
whoa, whoa.
Seatown, Edda's. You have a large
And
choice.
soon, Palace Kitchen.
That's what I just said. Yeah, I started that.
One of our cooks sent in a Jacob Foy sent in a picture of his stove. He lives with a bunch of skater dudes,
Uh-huh.
and it's just jammed with clothes, and the door's falling off.
Well, I mean, one of the great things about working in a restaurant is you get 3 square a day.
Yeah,
So he doesn't need a stove at
That's
home.
right.
So-
I like the way he puts his laundry in the oven.
In
but
the
that's
oven.
funny.
Okay, so this segment we've dedicated to kind of using up some things that maybe people tend to want to throw out because they think since they've eaten all the pickles out of the dill pickle jar that they're done. And what we do in the restaurants is a little bit different because we think that there's a lot of flavor in that dill pickle brine. There's certainly salt. There's certainly dill, garlic.
It's where all the
coriander seed.
flavor is actually
Yeah.
at.
So what we'll do is we'll take that dill pickle brine and we buy it in the 5-gallon tubs of pickles, but we'll then brine our chicken tenders before we bread them and deep fry them, right? Or
It
we'll
makes
brine,
an incredible chicken brine.
yeah, chicken brine, or we actually do our cod for our fish and chips because that a lot of that pickle is going into tartar sauce, and so
Right.
we'll take the brine and pickle the fish for 15 minutes before and then drain it because if you leave it in there, you got ceviche. But
So, and if you want to be completely secure and safe to do it, you can just bring it to a boil first. You take that, you put it in a pot, you bring it to a boil, skim the scum that's on top, and then strain it, and then put new spices into your brine.
yeah, I wouldn't do that, but that's okay. Well, why would you?
Just to be safe. It's called being safe because you put your finger in that jar, it's been in your fridge for 3 months.
It's full of salt.
You know what? You do what you
All right.
do, and I do what I do.
All right.
That's the way life works,
Well, I don't
sir.
know what's on your fingers.
And get to
but-
it now. I know what's on my
we
fingers.
tend to wash our hands.
I
at
know
our
what's on my
restaurants.
fingers. I boil the sauce.
Calm down, boys.
Okay, so there's one thing to do. Any thoughts from you, chef?
Yes, same context of using, for example, Dijon mustard. I've said that before. You know, when you get to the bottom of the jar, it's hard to get into it. Just squeeze a lemon juice in there. Shake, 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 really good. Put some cracked pepper in there. Put maybe some chopped garlic, whatever you want to put in there, and seasoning. And then drop some olive oil, some very good olive oil. Shake, 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 shake. You now have dressing in your refrigerator for the next week.
Brilliant.
Mustard vinaigrette.
Love it.
I mean, that's as simple as it gets. No additive, no GMO, no whatever. It's as clean as it gets, and it's as good as it gets.
I love using my Mama Lil's oils. to
Because
saute with.
they're packed in vegetable oil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very versatile, and it's just got that little kick to it, and
It's good
it
to
saved a lot of recipes that otherwise would have been very boring.
It's really good to cook a little piece of whitefish, cod, for example, into that oil. You don't make it too hot in the pan, so you don't want to burn it. You want to get it at medium heat, and put your fish in there and cook your fish at medium heat the whole time. And black cod does really well with that. Oh,
In
it's
the
really-
Mama Lil oil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really, really delicious because you're giving all that flavor added to your fish. And black cod will pick it up like that.
You know, one of the things I've been using lately along this line, but maybe a little different, is I found a good cheat for duck confit, right? So the biggest producer of duck in our country is called Maple Leaf Farms. I believe
Right.
they're out of Arkansas. And they're now selling packs of 2 duck legs that are
Right.
done in confit. So they're cooked in fat,
They're already cooked.
but they're sous vide.
Right.
Right. So in that little packet, you get the juice from the duck and you get all the duck fat that they cooked it with and that rendered from the sous vide process. And so you pull it out of this pack. Once it's thawed, you pull it out of the pack. You brown your duck legs in a pan and you got to set them and forget them. Don't try and turn them too soon or you'll rip the skin right off
Right.
of them. You got to brown them, let them get mahogany colored.
Mhm.
But all the juices in the pan is where you're going to pan fry your potatoes with that
Mm.
duck fat and then the rendered duck juice, which caramelizes around the potatoes. What a nice combination with a little
Oh,
escarole
yes.
salad,
Ooh,
the duck on top, the fried potatoes, duck fried
très
potatoes.
français.
Oh,
Don't forget.
there is a reason for that country to exist. It's called duck confit.
A dash. Don't forget at the end on those potatoes, just a dash of red wine vinegar.
Dash
That
of
will
vinegar.
change.
Good idea, right? Because you got a lot of heavy flowing fat. The vinegar just pops it right out.
Yeah. And lots of fresh chopped chives, and you're done.
The other use was marinades, like when you have the time for your fish or your pork chop to use your olive brine to let them sit and soak up some flavor. I love that. And or just as part of your cooking liquid. use the oils and the brines in your cooking liquids.
You have to be careful with the brine of olives to use when you cook with it because it's pretty salty. So
Very.
it's going to salt up really quickly. So make sure you use low heat and make sure you poach or do something of that nature. One of my recommendations for olive brine is dressing again to make a dressing, for example, for a tuna salad or for things like this.
Oh, it'd be perfect with tuna.
Yeah, because you're going to put olives in the dish and you're going to use the olive brine.
Some of it.
Yeah, no, some of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to use, depends how much you have,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't matter how much you have. Just use a little bit of it to make part of your dressing with it. So like if you're making a mayonnaise and you mix the mayonnaise, homemade mayonnaise, and you mix the mayonnaise at the end with the brine of the olive, it will give you a saucy kind of mayonnaise, and you can mix with your tuna, potatoes, pasta, rice. I mean, there's many places where you can use that mayonnaise.
And if you get down to 1/8 of a jar left of that mayonnaise, and you add a half a cup of buttermilk to it, a bunch of fresh herbs,
And some
and
tarragon.
a little, well, that would be a fresh herb,
Yes.
and a little cider vinegar. Shake that up. You got your own ranch dressing right there. Yeah, that is what ranch dressing generally is.
Sure.
Is a mixture of mayonnaise and buttermilk, or mayonnaise, sour cream, and buttermilk. So everyone loves a good trashy ranch dressing.
That's not trashy when you make it like that.
Well, sort of is, but that's okay.
It's trash with golden handles.
Trash is one of the highest forms of art in my book.
Oh, is it?
I know you. and I-
I'm just needing to understand that more because I use that as a derogatory
Yes,
term.
me too.
Trash. No. You've heard me say it for years. Trashy
I know,
good.
but I
Trashy
want to
good
work
means
with
it's
you
like-
on that.
Well, it's like an Oreo or barbecue potato chips. They're trashy good. They're like not really chefy type things, but chefs secretly love them. Like a coconut prawn. That's where I taught Chef
You guys
Terry.
don't keep that secret at all. Every
Yeah, but-
chef I know has.
Okay,
their
so a coconut
junk
prawn. Let's
food.
use that as an example. That's trashy, yes.
The
I
fried coconut
recognize
prawns.
it's
yeah.
only trashy. It's not trashy good.
It's
just-
trashy good. You loved it.
Yeah, of course.
Well-
But my point was, if you use spot prawn instead of, trashy prawn, and you use good coconut, and I mean, you could make it much
Yeah,
better.
just go kill yourself. It doesn't. I mean, get
Oh,
over
I'm
it.
sorry. You
I
were
don't
killing
mean
yourself
that.
before. That's why I
No,
removed you
I'm just saying,
from
it's
there.
like, why bother? Just, I shouldn't have said that. Sean, Vittori, could you take that out of there, please? Just get over yourself,
Yeah,
is what I meant to say.
I am over it.
I mean,
Don't
it's
worry.
like, enjoy the trashiness of it. Or if you want to make spot prawns, don't treat them that way,
exactly.
right? A spot prawn should be, is a whole different creature, this delicate flavor. I would never do a coconut prawn out of a spot prawn
I'm just saying.
just because they can't hold up.
That's right. They're not hard enough.
They're not, yeah, they're too good for that context.
That's right.
So anyway, so does that explain what trashy good is to you?
Enough. I want to give a shout out to Bon Appetit magazine for the inspiration for this segment because they have a category on the website called cheap tricks that I had never seen before.
Mhm.
And that's what led me to this idea and
Right.
concept. And you guys treated it beautifully.
And then
Thank you.
another idea too. We're talking about frying oil. Frying oil is something that if you fry correctly, your oil can be reused many, many times over. It doesn't have to be something that you use only once. Even if it's fish oil or your fish that you cook in your oil, you can reuse it. Again, think of things like dressing that you make all the time. You need almost every day you need dressing because you eat a lot of lettuce or salads in your life. If you don't, you should. And even making a sandwich, mayonnaise, whatever, things you're going to put on your sandwiches, or you need oil. So those oils are perfect to reuse and add to. Yes, you look.
Oh, I have a question.
Oh.
You're doing a wonderful thing, but I have a question about it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I did some lamb chops the other night, and Mike cleaned out the pan, and he put the oil in my chicken schmaltz. So do I now have to throw out my
Yeah.
chicken
Yeah.
schmaltz because
He thought he was doing a
Tim-
good deed.
Why do
He
you let
thought he
him in
was-
the kitchen?
I don't know.
He's a sommelier. He's not a cook.
Yeah, now I
Give
have
him his
lamb
own-
oil in
Give
there.
him his
no,
own
no.
cup.
That's your jar.
There's another
Exactly.
secret I use in making mashed potatoes, which is the feta brine from feta cheese.
Yeah.
It's got the whey in it a little bit. and
Absolutely.
but
I
got to
would
be
never
careful
have
how much.
thought of that one.
Or your yogurt
It's just
whey.
really fluffy, beautiful
Yeah.
mashed potatoes. So Got it, Brian.
I'm gonna
Got a
make
little
those
trickster.
tonight.
All right,
That-
it's time for your Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge, brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs, featured right here in the Hot Stove Society radio show gift shop. And the winner of our show, the winner of our contest, is going to win 3 of those. On Cairo, it's the Hot Stove Society show, 97.3 FM.
Sorry, Tom.
Almost didn't get that in there,
You,
Chef.
you went on and on. I was like, oh, I thought you was
I
done.
know.
Oh, maybe Sean Hartley wants to play Tasty Trivia today. Hi, Sean.
You gave it.
Sean, tell me that we don't have to move the bathroom sewer lines.
We don't know yet. We'll find out today.
God.
Hi.
That was the whole reason for doing this project, is that they were existing.
We'll see.
Make them pay for it.
It's me. Thank you.
They is us.
They is us.
Oh, bad. charge,
Did anybody
charge more
decide
rent,
if they
Tom.
wanted to play trivia? Or are we gonna make Annie do it? No takers. It's easy.
Oh, what a bunch of weenie butts in here.
Nobody wants to come up to the mic.
Okay, Sean.
All
Sean
right, Sean's
Hartley.
gonna be here. Here we go.
What's the subject?
Sean is one of the owners of our company, also operations and IT director for.
Oh, this is
TDF,
perfect timing.
And I was a chef too, so it's not.
And he
also-
was the chef
you
at
also
Palace
the
Kitchen
IT
for 10
director?
years.
Famous
That's
chef.
frightening, isn't it?
Sean, you got to get right up on that, baby. When you
Gotcha.
answer the wrong answer, you got to go. You got to
Loud,
get right
loud
up.
and proud.
Remember,
When you don't know, you have to go. I don't know.
I'd like to pass.
no,
Pass.
at worst, be loud and dogmatic. He
Yes,
can. Yeah.
He can. Anybody can help Sean, but not Tom and Terry.
Oh, great. We
Whoever
can
gives them a
sync.
wrong answer can have a free shop in our gift shop.
Him.
A couple weeks ago, Sean sent me this picture of this lady who is decorating the sidewalks in Seattle. In between the cracks, she was putting
Flowers.
beautiful little flowers. And yesterday, Mike saw her in the market. She did from Frank's all the way down to
Really?
Beecher's.
Where did I see that? I walked
It's
across.
right out in front of the Sears Pipe.
Oh, okay. Because I did walk across.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it's-
wow, what's that?
And I don't know if she has both oars in the water, but it's beautiful.
It's really beautiful. He said he couldn't make verbal contact with her. She's either shy or English as a second language, or we don't
But it's
know.
beautiful. It's
It's
crazy.
beautiful what
Yeah.
she's doing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Made my day.
All right.
I'm going to read the locations because I forgot to put them in the show sheet
Okay.
when you get to that.
All right. Welcome back to the last segment of our lovely, delicious radio show. Rub with Love is our sponsor today of the Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge. Rub with Love is our line of flavorful and chef-inspired spice rubs, a complex shallot mustard, and 4 deeply rich sauces. Emily, your adjectives are very good
I'm
today.
just working on adjectives.
When you have these tools in your pantry, you are ready to expertly season every meal. You can find Rub with Love in fine retailers like
all around the Pacific Northwest and the country, like Hagen's Northwest Fresh Stores with 14 locations from Bellingham to Olympia, or Butcher Boys in Puyallup, or Fresh Ideas in Gardnerville, Nevada. Wow. We can also help you at our own locations at Ballard, Serious Pie, Seatown, or right here at Hot Stove.
or online, your choice.
Your choice.
What are we playing and how do we play it?
5 questions for each participant. We're honored to have one of our company's owners, Sean Hartley, today, competing against Tom and Terry. And he's going to pick somebody to shop in the gift shop. So let's start with Chef in the Hat, please.
Go right ahead.
Used as either a bittering, flavoring, or stability agent, the plant Humulus lupulus has been increasingly
Bless you.
used in beer during the 21st century. By what name is this species more commonly known? What makes beer bitter?
Is that the IPA thing?
You're close. You're there.
Oh my God.
You're a wine snob.
Yeah, of course I am. Beer and me are like
What's the plant?
the plant that grows in the valley. Then
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
All right, you lose. Hops.
Thank you. I got the point. Thank you.
As defined by Chef Auguste Escoffier, the 5 mother sauces of French cooking are bechamel, espagnole, tomate, veloute, and what is the 5th sauce which is commonly featured in eggs Benedict?
Hollandaise.
Thank you. Number 3.
I know that one.
Chocolate flavored coffee drink gets its name from a city in Yemen that was once a center of the coffee trade.
Chocolate coffee drink from Yemen.
But think of what we call it commonly now, just chocolate coffee.
Mocha?
Yes.
That's a town in Yemen?
Yes. You
My
nailed
God.
it.
I guess I need to go to Yemen.
I recommend. Poutine, a favorite dish of Quebec, has
Or president of Russia.
spelled differently. A favorite dish of Quebec has what sauce added atop French fries and cheese curds?
Fond de veau. Or actually, glace de viande is what usually the best.
We'll
No,
take it.
Quebec, you have to say it in French and English. Gravy.
Gravy. Thank you.
We're giving you
I
that
don't like
one
the word
because
gravy because it's glace de
Hey, I'm a
viande.
gravy god. You better like the word gravy.
Okay.
Okay,
Lars is
it's gravy.
anointed me.
All right.
What common herb do some eaters complain tastes of soap?
That would be about. There is a few actually. And people
Okay.
complain.
Give
But
us a few then, Chef.
lavender is the first one, and then
Oh.
sage, and then tarragon. None of the above. Those
think-
all taste like soap. in
I
case,
agree about the lavender, but the answer we were going for was cilantro.
that one too. There's plenty of them apparently.
How'd you do? 3 out of 5, I think.
3 out of 5.
Fantastic. John Hartley. A
Yes.
round, solid, meaning holeless donut with chocolate frosting and a pudding filling is named for the pie, which it mightily resembles. This pie is the namesake of what American city? Donut, custard inside, chocolate on the
I'm going to
outside.
be there next
would
week.
be the Bismarck.
The city.
The city. I
Yeah,
would like help.
Boston.
Oh, the Boston.
Boston.
Of course, it's the Boston.
It's Boston.
I
Number,
guess you get the point.
number 2, representing
They're vying for your
19%
prize.
of the Washington state crop, what variety of apple has a name that means a fancy party?
Can you repeat the question, please? I'm going to go for Gallo.
Yay!
Wow, you've got them on your.
Second one.
They're working you.
What soup is the official state cuisine of Louisiana? This soup includes Cajun Creole, Holy Trinity of celery, bell pepper, onions, along with stock, shellfish, and a thickener.
That'd be gumbo.
You
It's
are
very gumbo.
amazing.
I like a before we answer, you ask them now.
I like how, typically you get one lifeline and he's got about 20.
Thank you, audience.
I'm playing for them.
Sushi is not an interchangeable term with raw fish, but is a more general term for a Japanese way of preparing and serving vinegared rice. Speaking of raw fish, what is the term for the raw fish salad served in a bowl which originated in Hawaii?
I think it's poke.
You're right. And finally, what is the 4-letter word for the paste made from fermented soybeans and barley or rice malt, which is commonly used in Japanese cooking?
Kasu.
hold
on.
Commonly used. Miso.
Miso. But okay.
Yeah, no,
5
you're
out of
right.
5.
But if you have kasu cod, isn't it marinated in the lee? Is it rice
Lees of
and-
sake tanks. Yes. Sake brewing.
So that's
tanks.
rice and
Yeah, but she said commonly,
commonly.
used.
Okay, then I'm going to take a loss on that.
4 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Yay!
Way
His
to
line is
go.
working really
Now,
well.
the hard part is picking who you're going to give your little gift shop raw to.
Well, but only if I win. You have
Okay,
to.
we'll see.
What
Oh,
happens
that's
if we
true.
tie?
Oh. Hi, Tom Douglas.
Hello.
A snack brand introduced in 1968 features individual pieces shaped as hyperbolic paraboloid so that they fit perfectly together,
Pringles.
nested in their vessel. Yeah,
What's
strong start.
What boloids?
It's something you get when you can't go to the restroom.
Paraboloids. To lead others to a food source, an ant will lay down a scent trail of what type of chemicals?
Do I get any sort of multiple choice or no?
No.
They leave a scent trail of peanuts.
Pheromones.
Pheromones.
What is the name of the world famous fish market in Tokyo?
Gigi market.
Exactly. Number 4, officially recognized as its state berry in
By the way,
19
peanuts have a lot of pheromones. Just saying.
I love your science.
I love that. Oh, by the way, it's scientifically proven.
Proven.
Only on this show, though.
Yeah. Keep it close.
Just yeah.
Officially recognized as its state berry in 1991, Maine is one of the world's top producers of
Blueberries.
Yes.
Told me these questions are going to be difficult today.
And finally, what fruit, sometimes known as the alligator pear, is likely to have originated in south central Mexico? Botanically speaking, this fruit is a large berry with a single seed and is now grown in dozens of countries in both hemispheres.
I think it's chayote.
Oh,
No? Napale?
Avocado.
Oh, avocado.
Sean's
I was
winner.
thinking more ethnic, I guess.
4 out of 5. Sean is the winner.
Oh.
Way to go. And Sean, you have picked a winner from the audience to take your prize, to take your stroll through the gift shop here. If you want to be part of our show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas and Company. Or you remember, if you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show on Cairo, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app. This show is produced by Pamela Hinckley. Sean McFadden is our technical producer, and our talented Cairo editor, who we just got to share a cocktail with
So nice.
at Edda's, is Sean Don't Call Me Del Torre.
Thanks for listening and have a great weekend.
All right, we just need 1 minute of quiet so we can do our promos. Hi, I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Thierry Roturo, the chef in the hat.
This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we talk about a fundraising project between Duke. No, I don't want to say it like that. This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society show, we talk about we talk with Duke Moscrip and Heather Andersen from a fundraising project to help save wild salmon. Want to say that again, Sean? We talk about a fundraising project between Duke.
How about
I don't like the way
Save
that
Salmon
reads.
with Duke?
With Duke Moscrip of Duke Seafood and Heather Andersen of Damsel Cellars. Every drop of a condiment, oil, or brine needs to be used, for God's sake. Nostalgic cookies from the local company Cookies with Tiffany and Earth Day prompts us to reduce our food waste.
It's a wrap.
All right, good.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you
See
so
you next week.
much. We appreciate it.